And I want to know what the fuck's going on with Italian football and the mob.
On September 4th, 2024, two friends left a gym in Milan, Italy. They get into this car, pull out, then hit the brakes. Inside, there's a struggle. After a few moments, one man climbs out with a gunshot wound. He's Andrea Beretta. He leads.
I think the lesson is never go to the gym with friends. Never go to the gym in general, but definitely don't go with friends. Don't have friends, don't go to the gym, is what I'm hearing from the beginning of this episode. Because, like, it's just too dangerous. People will hype it up, but it's just too dangerous. You can die. You can literally get shot. If you stay in your own bed and scroll TikToks, you will not get shot. Almost guaranteed.
A hardcore fan group of Inter Milan, one of Italy's best football clubs. The other man is dead, stabbed 21 times.
Jesus Christ.
He's Antonio Bellocco, heir to one of the most powerful families in the Italian Mafia. Italian football has a mafia problem. It's always been lurking behind the scenes, but now it's in the stands.
Okay.
We knew for a long time that things were heading this way in Italian football. And I think the deeper question then is, how is it that this very small group of people were able to take such control?
I don't know. Tell me. Search party. Is it sports betting? Like rigged games, I assume?
Now, you've probably seen The Sopranos, or Goodfellas, or The Godfather. They're all stories of American offshoots of the original mafia group, the Cosa Nostra. The group originated in rural Sicily during the 1800s. It began as gangs of men hired to protect farmers and cattle herders from bandits. But it evolved into a network of clans that extorted businesses for money. They pledged oaths of loyalty.
Really losing the nobility of your original intention. If you were hired to protect people from bandits and then you become a gigantic extortion ring, it does feel like you lost the plot. Mamma mia, indeed.
Followed a code of silence and eliminated anyone that crossed them. Around the same time, two similar mafia groups emerged. The Camorra in Campania and the Ndrangheta in Calabria.
That's good. There's competition. I appreciate that.
These groups infiltrated nearly every business in their territories. A 2015 study found that in two regions in southern Italy, the mafia was likely responsible for a 20% fall in their GDPs, and probably responsible for more in Sicily, Campania, and Calabria.
All right.
Eventually, the mafia groups expanded into Italy's major cities where they competed for territory. Even clans within the groups fought each other. In the 1980s, warring Cosa Nostra clans left over 1,000 people dead, including judges, journalists, and civilians.
Jesus.
It led to the arrests of hundreds of mafia members.
The largest trial in Italian history began today in a Palermo, Sicily courtroom.
The authorities, they say, are fighting more than the mafia. They're fighting tradition.
These wars weakened the Cosa Nostra, but gave an opportunity to the Ndrangheta.
I've never heard of the Ndrangheta.
The group was notoriously violent, but when it saw how violence attracted police attention, it switched to a more subtle strategy.
Okay.
It used control of key ports to smuggle in drugs, especially cocaine, and establish lucrative trafficking routes into Europe.
I want to talk about this. Reminder to talk about this. I want to make a video. Dude, the amount of cocaine in Ireland is crazy. I was just reading. It is like cocaine has become so big in Ireland. Ireland has become like the hub of cocaine into Europe. Like they all ship it into Ireland and then it goes out into Europe, which is where it's cheaper in Ireland. So they're hooked on it. Not planning a trip to Ireland. No, you guys are, no. I think it's interesting. That's very funny. It's just Conor McGregor. He's doing so much coke, he's pumping up the numbers. Anyway.
Then the Ndrangheta laundered this drug money through legitimate businesses, everything from hotels to restaurants to convenience stores, then sent some of the profits back to the main group, who invested in more businesses. Rinse and repeat. The Ndrangheta used this model to spread farther than any mafia group ever dreamed of. It established power bases in major cities, especially Milan. Then the Ndrangheta set up franchises abroad, eventually in at least 80 countries, including Canada.
The takedown and dismantling of one of the most well-known and notorious mafia crime families,
Colombia.
An alleged member of the Ndrangheta criminal.
What I was going to say is, like, so let's say you get some drug money, right? And then you invest it in a legitimate business. like a McDonald's franchise or a fucking tire shop or whatever. Okay? That launders the money. Then you get more drug money. Then you do it again. Then you get more drug money. Then you do it again. Isn't there a point where you've got so much legitimate money from legitimate businesses that you just stop with the drugs? What I don't understand is like why they keep the murdering and the killing and the drugs when you have, if you own 100, 500 McDonald's franchises, you could be 100 million. You could make a ton of money. But I guess there's the love of the game. There's also the danger of like, if you lose the underworld side, then someone else could get it and then use it against you and extort you. There's also the fact that if it's worked this far, why stop now? I'm seeing all the reasons why they wouldn't, but it's just like, it always shocks me they never just decide to go clean. Once you have that much money, you can make money just by owning things.
Criminal organization was found in the city of Medellin.
Even Australia.
51 organised crime clans, 14 confirmed as Ndrangheta, some taking their orders from the godfathers in Italy.
The Ndrangheta are now one of the biggest criminal organizations in the world.
It's crazy.
Making an estimated $60 billion.
I think they did a really smart thing by making their name hard to read.
Ndrangheta are now one of the biggest
hard to read and hard to pronounce. I've never heard of the Ndrangheta. Like, who's going to talk about it if everyone doesn't want to say it? They don't even want to write it down. When you call yourself the Mafia, it's like, that's cool. I'm going to talk about that all the time. If you call yourself the Yakuza, it's like, that's badass. I want to talk about the Yakuza. But the Ndrangheta, that's yeah, it's like a Star Wars planet.
Criminal organizations in the world, making an estimated $60 billion a year, and it's always looking for more. I'm sure you've noticed professional football is flush with money. Well, the Mafia did too. So this story took a ton of research, took me all over the internet, and one thing I've noticed since starting SP is that I'm getting a ton of those spam texts and spam emails. Thankfully, I'm managing my risk thanks to my subscription to Incogni.
That is so cool. Incogni, folks. Check it out. This is not helpful to his ad, but I think Incogni would be a good name for a mafia. I'm part of the Incogni. You know, it sounds illicit. It sounds underground. It sounds like you don't want to fuck with them.
Now I'll take you back to the sports part of this story. Italians love football. They're some of the most passionate fans in the world, and the atmosphere at an Italian football match is unlike anywhere else. But for as long as the Italians have loved football, the Mafia has profited from it. The Mafia has ensnared some star players. Think of Diego Maradona hanging out with the Camorra when he played for Napoli. The Mafia are also behind Italy's countless match-rigging scandals.
Yikes.
In the 1990s and 2000s, the Mafia even started to own some football clubs. Camorra clans owned 2 clubs in Campania, and Ndrangheta clans owned at least 4 in Calabria.
Oh, damn.
These were small clubs the Mafia owned primarily to garner prestige and loyalty with the people in their territory. But as the Ndrangheta grew into an international criminal organization, their ambition grew too. Europe's top football clubs were generating hundreds of millions of dollars a year. And 2 were in Italy's richest city and Ndrangheta power base, Milan.
Okay.
AC Milan and Inter Milan are very successful, very popular, and they're also bitter rivals that happen to share a stadium, the San Siro.
They share a stadium.
Trying to own these clubs would be far too brazen for the Ndrangheta, but the Mafia group could tap into the millions of dollars that swirl around the clubs. Walk towards the San Siro and you'll see cash everywhere. There's merchandise for sale, beer for sale, food, parking, and of course, tickets.
Well, yeah,
you see targets for...
I mean, these are just business opportunities, right? I mean, you could... I mean, the money they have is illegal, but just buying a stadium is, yeah, that makes sense as money. Okay.
The Ndrangheta. But the stadium is the territory of 2 powerful organizations. The Ultras.
What is this like Marvel lore, dude? I'm hearing all these weird names.
Football's a religion.
Who are the Ultras?
Yeah, the most devout Orthodox people of this religion are the Ultras.
Martino spends time with Ultras all over the world. But he doesn't call himself a journalist.
I much more try and dance around the idea of football anthropologist.
Ultras are responsible for the songs, banners, and flares at every match.
Oh, wow.
But in Italy, Ultras stand for much more than a football club.
Ultras originally were a way of kind of revendicating the city-state identity of Italy, which existed before its unification in the 1860s and 70s. Ultras became a way of being hyper-proud and hyper-identified with your local traditions and customs.
Okay.
That hyper-identity can lead to some extraordinary things. Ultras groups give their members a sense of identity, a sense of belonging. They even act as community organizations in some cases. Ultras groups are also crucial in standing up for fans' interests with the club, and not always in the way clubs appreciate.
It's not been uncommon historically for Ultras to come and demand a conversation with the coach.
Hey, anybody in LA want to start an LA Lakers Ultra group so that I can get a talk with Luka Doncic? If there's enough of us and we're stupid and angry enough.
But the Ultras also have a dark side. Some Ultras groups are known for violence, use racist language, adopt radical politics, and some even get involved in crime.
Are you telling me drunk Italian football fans sometimes use racist language? They sometimes get involved in crime? I don't believe it. I don't
Ultras
fucking
comprise
believe
dozens
it.
of different groups, but around 2022, they were roughly organized under two banners. AC Milans were known as the Curva Sud, and Inters were known as the Curva Nord. Each was led by a powerful boss. So the Ndrangheta's plan was simple. Take control of the Ultras, then take control of the San Siro. For years, the boss of Inter's Ultras was Vittorio Boiocchi. He was nicknamed the Uncle and was beloved by his fellow Ultras, but he had also served 26 years in prison for drug trafficking, robbery, and kidnapping. As head of Inter's Ultras, Boiocchi added corruption. He got the club to give him thousands of free tickets, but instead of passing them on to his members, Boiocchi set up a network of scalpers to sell them for a huge
That's
profit,
so funny.
then pocketed the money himself. Around 80,000 euros a month, he once bragged, demonstrating just how easy it was for an Ultras boss to make money. But suddenly, in 2022, Boiocchi was killed.
Oh, shit.
His lieutenants, including Andrea Beretta, then worked to elect Antonio Bellocco, a member of a prominent Ndrangheta clan. And just like that, the Mafia were in. First, Bellocco and Beretta demanded more free tickets. When Inter made the finals of the UEFA Champions League tournament in 2023, Bellocco's lieutenants reportedly threatened to cause problems unless the club coughed up 200 more tickets. The club obliged.
Jeez.
The Inter Ultras even colluded with the leader of AC Milan's Ultras, their rival, to expand the ticket scheme. Next, they seized control of the parking, food stalls, and merchandise shops around the stadium, earning them millions of euros that they reinvested into more criminal enterprises. In just 2 years, the men turned the San Siro, the heart of Italian football, into the Ndrangheta's newest franchise.
That's crazy.
We can't have anything nice. Every time there's a beautiful thing that emerges from this complicated, culturally rich place, this evil, cancerous little of a mafia institution comes in and compromises all of it.
But like in many mafia stories, this one ends with betrayal. Bellocco and Beretta didn't want to share this empire. Tensions grew between them until suddenly they reached a boiling point. Once Beretta killed Bellocco, the Italian police saw a chance to crack down on Italy's Ultras. In June, 19 Ultras were found guilty of crimes, including murder, extortion, and criminal association with the Ndrangheta. Beretta is not only guilty of murdering Bellocco, but he admitted to ordering the hit on Boiocchi too.
Narc?
After cooperating with police, he received only a 10-year sentence. The leader of AC Milan's Ultras will serve 10 years too. Inter's manager and one player served a one-game suspension for having contact with some of these Ultras. But the clubs received 50,000 euros each for, quote, the effect the scandal had on their reputation. Meanwhile, Italian police are investigating Ultras groups in several Italian cities, and they have plenty of reasons to. In 2018, police discovered the Ndrangheta had infiltrated Juventus Ultras. In 2019, the leader of Lazio's Ultras was assassinated, and there continue to be allegations that some Ultras groups of Napoli are linked to the Camorra. The scandal in Milan may be the last straw. It's put Italian Ultra groups in a bind. On the one hand, they have the Mafia, who just keep proving how easy it is to infiltrate them.
Power corrupts. These people have completely compromised on the values of what I see as being an ultras, and they spoiled it for the rest of us.
And on the other hand, they have the clubs who are more
in their defense, like, you know, the guy, the uncle, maybe he's a real fan. I mean, he's a 26-year-old. He was jailed for 26 years for drug smuggling, so he wasn't like he was a good guy, but that guy, I guess, believed in the ultra and they killed him. Like, the real problem is the state's inability to stop violence and death and the threats on the, like, if the government can't protect you.
than eager to silence the ultras groups once and for all. AC Milan and Inter are reportedly rejecting hundreds of season ticket requests by ultras members.
It's a hidden win, and that scandal actually serves very convenient to disempower fans and turn this into a much easier space for them to profit off of without active criticism. Now the critical voice is gone. And if it does speak up, you go, what are you talking about? You're a bunch of drug dealer mobsters.
So scenes like these, the kind that once defined Italian football, may be the latest victim of the Mafia. But they won't be the last.
Okay, thanks for watching Research Party.
Hey, good video. Good video. Thanks, Search Party, for the interesting look at the Italian mob. I think the mobs should have to compete in the game of football instead of killing each other. And that'd be fun to watch. I think if we had a worldwide football match between like the Yakuza and the Ndrangheta and the Mafia and the Crips in LA, I think we get all these gangs to play some sports. I think it'd be fucking fun. MS-13, a Mafia field day. Yeah. Not even just football, like football, basketball, track and field. A gang Olympics, dude. A gang Olympics. That'd be fucking sick.